Some parents would ask me, can homeschooled high school student go to college? Wouldn't it be hard for them when they enter college? So today is another episode of Teen Talk, and we'll get the answer straight from a homeschooled teen who is college bound. So mga ka-homeschool, please welcome Therese Candelaria. Hi Therese, how are you?
Hi po, good afternoon. I'm doing well.
Okay, so congratulations on your graduation.
Thank
Yay!
you.
How does it feel to finally finish high school?
It feels great po. I'm very excited for this new chapter in my life.
So you are an incoming freshman this school year 2021.
Yes po.
And have you decided what school will you go to?
Yes po. I'm a incoming freshman in Ateneo de Manila.
Okay. And what course will you be taking up?
I'll be taking up AB Interdisciplinary Studies.
Wow. And aside from Ateneo, what other universities have you applied for?
I applied for UANP and LaSalle, and I got into both po, thankfully.
Okay. Okay. So why did you choose Ateneo? Is that your
I
number one school, preferred school?
Yes po, it was my number one school. I chose Ateneo po because I really took into consideration the the care that the faculty puts into the online setup because it's been very hard to adjust to yun nga, the online setup. And since I went to Ateneo Senior High, um, I was able to see the how the faculty really cares about us. They put a lot of time and they really went out of their way to make sure that um, the setup works for us and that we're able to get the education that we paid for, that we're going to the school for.
That's right. It's very important, no, that the setup really works for the students, especially in this
Yes po.
situation, no, which is
Yes.
online. But Therese, how did you go about choosing the schools? I mean, you applied for three schools. So, is it those schools are those chosen by your parents, or how did you go about choosing those schools?
Um, my mom actually just encouraged me to apply to any school that I wanted. She said, apply to as much school as you can so that you can have options when it's time to enroll na. And um, Ateneo is the only one. Uh, it's the only university with interdisciplinary studies, which is my number one course in mind po.
Okay, so please educate us. What is interdisciplinary course?
Okay, so interdisciplinary studies, it's in the School of Humanities of Ateneo. Um, it's very it's a course where you can pick two tracks from yun nga, from humanities, fields of study in the humanities. You can pick communications, theater arts, educations, language studies, and many more. But I can't list them all right now. I chose this course because it's the most flexible to what the student what the student is interested in, and honestly, I picked this course because during the time of college applications, I wasn't too sure about what I would study. And now naman po, now that I've gotten in, and I recently attended an open house for freshmen. Sorry about the background noise.
That's
Um,
okay.
we attended this open house for the freshmen, and I asked my seniors if it's hard to get a job as a graduate of this major, and they said no. They said na employers are actually looking for students that are well-rounded, students that are flexible, and this is what that course offers. So yeah, I'm very happy with what I chose.
Okay, so you're not alone, Teresa. I mean, you're not the only one who's having a hard time choosing the course, no? Ako din, when I remember nung nag-college ako, parang hindi ko pa alam magko-comsci ba ako or what, no? And it's a good thing that you attended an open house, no? For you to better see what's in store for you. But Therese, may we know how did you personally prepare for college? I mean, did you review for entrance exams? What was your
Uh,
preparation?
so at the end of grade 11 last year po, that was when the pandemic started. So we were unsure as to how the college applications would go. Like we didn't know if there would be an exam. Um, so back then I was preparing to take, um, a college exam like we have been all the past years. So I took a month-long course, review class with Newton, just to refresh all the topics from high school po.
Okay. Pero when you applied for the three schools, meron ba silang exam?
Ateneo and LaSalle didn't have an exam, but UANP, um, they did have an online exam.
Okay. What type of exam? Was it essay or the regular exam that you usually take?
It was a regular exam po. There were essay questions and also multiple choice questions po.
Okay.
Mhm.
And would you say that your preparations are just the same from your friends who came from traditional schools?
I think yes po. I think we all were very unsure about what was going to happen this year. So yeah, we all prepared for the exams. Um, but we were very unsure. Yun nga po, we were very unsure as to what would happen.
Yeah.
So we were a bit in the dark about our futures po.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Okay. And how did you deal naman with the pressure of being accepted into a good college? Siyempre, di ba? Although parents would not say or the people around you would not say that, oh, you should go to this school because ganyan, 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 di ba? So how did you deal with the pressure? Or are there any pressures or none at all?
I think I just had to remind myself po that whatever college I get into, it doesn't really matter as long as I put the work in to really make the most of the education that I'm getting. Like, what does it matter if I'm going to Ateneo or to UP or any college really if I don't personally put in the work to get the most of what I have?
Galing. Tama, no? As long as you put in the work, then you'll reap, you'll get the most out of it, no? Great, that's great. Were there ever times, Therese, wherein you doubted the course that you wanted to pursue? I mean, now that you've attended the orientation from Ateneo, are there any doubts or are you focused really on that course?
Yes, po, absolutely. The course that I chose is the one that really allows for the most flexibility in your interests. And something that our dean told us was that a lot of people shift out of um, interdisciplinary studies when
Mm-hmm.
they find out what they really want. And sana naman it's not the same for me. I hope to graduate with this course. Um, but I think yeah, this is the course that I chose is the one with the most room for change po. Yeah.
Okay. And what will be the job after graduation from this course?
It really depends po on the tracks that you pick. For example, po, one of my teachers that actually encouraged me to go for this course, she was my research teacher in high school. She graduated interdisciplinary studies with a focus in research and management po. Yeah. And now
Oh,
she teaches in Ateneo Senior High.
okay. But let's just go back muna, no, when you were young. So you started homeschooling when you were in kinder, right?
When I was prep po, yes.
Prep, grabe. So from the very start.
Yes po.
Okay. May we know why did your family chose to homeschool you and your siblings?
Um, Part of it po was because I was getting sick a lot when I was in kinder because I would go to school and then I would catch a lot of colds. I was a very sickly child po, and um, the nursery that I went to, Little Saints, uh, in Rolling Hills po, they had this partnership with Seton, and um, there were these talks about homeschooling. So I think that's when my parents really started to get interested in homeschooling us, and they did a lot of research about it, and then they found CFA. which is where I studied from prep until grade 9.
Prep until grade 9.
Yes po.
Okay, so ang tagal nun, no?
Hmm.
All right. And how many brothers and sisters do you have that were homeschooled as well?
Actually, all of my siblings have been homeschooled, but there are four of us. Um,
Wow,
my
four.
sister, yes po, I'm the eldest, and this is my sister next to me. She's currently grade 11. She was homeschooled um, from nursery until grade 8. Yes, and then my brother po, he was homeschooled until uh, from nursery until grade 6. And then my youngest brother now, he's 8. He's homeschooling and he's grade 3.
Okay. And how many teachers do you have at home?
My mom po on, was my only teacher before. Yes,
Okay.
because my dad worked full time.
Well, hats off to your mom, no? Kasi ang dami, no?
Yes
Four
po,
children
yes.
and then different levels, no? Good job.
Yes po.
So, being homeschooled for how many years? May we know, Therese, what is your own definition of homeschool?
Homeschooling for me po is just another way of receiving your education. Like I said earlier, you really have to make the most out of your circumstances. And usually there's this stigma around homeschooling na, oh, what if my kid isn't socialized? Or what if they don't really learn as much as they can with homeschooling? But for me po, it's not really that different from any regular school. Like people should just consider it as, ano, just like any other school po. It's just a form of education po. And if it works for you, then it works for you.
That's right. But how did you manage your time when you were homeschooling? I mean, of course, there would be extracurricular activities. So, what did you do for your time for your time so that you'll have a balance?
I think I really started being more aware of my time management in my education um, when I was JHS po. It really helps for me to find a regular schedule that works for you. Like for example, po, my productive hours are usually not in the morning. They're usually past lunch until maybe around 6. So I would schedule my day around that, knowing that I'm the most productive in the afternoons. Po.
Okay. So, even if you're homeschooling, you do follow a regular schedule, right?
I try to po, yes.
Okay. And you also mentioned that you are productive after lunch. So, meaning homeschoolers get the flexibility of studying during their productive hours.
Yes po. It's really a big perk that you have. And honestly, it really helped me during the online setting to know parang how to manage myself at home in my, just at home, like not in regular school. So when we went back to online classes because of the pandemic, my mom would joke na, oh, parang bumalik lang kayo sa homeschool.
That's
So yeah.
right. Yung ba yung feeling mo ngayon?
Yes po, it's very similar.
So, at least trained ka na, no? Okay. So now, Therese, that you are college bound, I mean, can you share ways on how your parents prepared you for college?
Okay. I think homeschooling really teaches you to be independent and self-sufficient, especially when I was in junior high school. Since all my siblings um, we were all homeschooling, my mom couldn't really be as hands-on with us. So we really learned how to teach ourselves and do projects on our own. And ayan, I think that'll really help me in college. And then another way po, my parents supported me. They were always supportive about what interest I wanted to pursue. Like when I was homeschooled, they made sure to enroll me in extracurriculars just so that I could see what I would like. And finally po, they would always remind us how important education is. And yun nga, as I said earlier, how it doesn't really matter where you are. You just need to make the most of out of what you have.
Okay, so let's discuss it one by one. So the first way that your parent prepared you for college would be to teach you how to be an independent and self-sufficient. So
Yes po.
meaning during your junior high school year, you do your project on your own, you do your written works, your performance-based assessment on your own.
Yes po.
But what if there are times that it would be hard for you? So what do you do? Where do you get resources that would help you better understand a certain project?
I would go to Khan Academy po a lot, and I would search on YouTube for lessons, especially po in math. I struggled with math a lot in high school, and ayun, it's about being resourceful po. That's another thing that I learned when I was homeschooled is how to be resourceful with and how to help yourself po.
Galing, how to help yourself. I like it. Because a lot of teenagers would say, "Oh, teacher, this is too hard. I don't understand this topic." But if you are resourceful, then you can get materials that would help you better understand that math
Mm-hmm.
lesson, for example, no?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you also mentioned that your parents would support you in their interest or um, other things that you wanted to pursue, like enroll you in extracurricular. So, what other extracurricular have you tried?
I've tried badminton, I tried ballet, um, dance. Oh, and the one that my most favorite po, the one that lasted for the longest in my childhood years until now actually po, was music class po. I started music when I was grade 6 and I play the violin until now po, when I have the time.
Oh,
Yes po.
okay. Sige, galing. So, I'm sure every family gathering you would play the violin.
Oh yes po.
Okay. And the last that you mentioned is that you said that education is important. So at a young age, you understood that.
Mm-hmm. Um, Because I think this comes from my dad po talaga because they didn't come from a very well-off family, but then he also graduated from Ateneo as a full scholar from the OST and from Ateneo itself po. Um, so ayun, even though they didn't have the best circumstances, my dad always work hard, and they'd always tell us this story whenever we're feeling uncertain or demotivated nga po. Especially po when I was applying for colleges recently. And yeah, I'm very, very grateful to my parents po for this.
Wow, hats off to your dad, no? Galing.
Yes.
You mentioned the word demotivated. A lot of teens would be demotivated whenever they study. So what tips can
Yes
you
po.
give them, no, to give them the lift that they needed?
Um, Honestly, for me, it's just about um, looking forward to something after after your work po. Or actually having fun even while you're doing your work. In this online setup po, I was very, very demotivated, especially towards the middle of the year. I felt very burned out. But what really helped me po was to study with my group of friends. We would set up study dates. We would just be in a call and then we'd be quiet, and then every 30 minutes or so we would update each other on what we're doing or what we already finished. And yeah, that was one of the highlights for my senior year of high school that was taken online.
So it really helps if you have some friends, no, who
Yes
would
po.
study with you. Okay, that's a good tip. And you mentioned also in the book that you co-authored with other homeschooling teens. This one, no, welcome to my humble homeschool: secrets of successful homeschooling teens. And let me just read. Let me check here. You said here that homeschooling is a unique experience for each student, and really you get to decide what your experience will be like. So I was homeschooled from grade school to junior high school, and I really had a lot of time to discover the things I like doing, all while learning life skills from my parents.
Yes po. So, yun nga. I have a lot of other homeschool friends. Some of them go to different schools, have different homeschool providers than me, and some of them are independent homeschoolers. And ayun po, the experience is really different for every student, and it's very personalized to yun nga, your circumstances. And when I was growing up, po, especially in grade school when we were a lot younger, my mom would teach us math. While we were baking, she would teach us math when we would go to the grocery, things like that. Po. So it was really life skills mixed in um, with the more uh, classroom kind of education. Po. Best of both worlds, if you will. Yeah.
Ang galing, no? While baking, your mom is
Yes,
teaching you
po.
math.
Yeah, we would use the weighing scale and the measuring cups, and that's how we would learn about fractions, 1/4 cup this. Uh, and we would also learn how to double recipes, which is how we learned how to add fractions.
Okay. And would you say, Therese, that those life skills help you in your preparation for college?
Yes, but I think um, it gave me a better view of the world in a way. Um, because there are some people that I know who have been in regular school their entire life, but they don't really know how to. They don't really have life skills, or they're not very um, experienced in things like cooking or just household chores in general. And I think that being homeschooled really helped me have a better view of the world, a more broad experience po. Um, and ayun, I think it's it's one of the things that I like about myself po, that I was able to have this opportunity.
And you also
And
mentioned that your parents allow you to commute, right?
yes po. So when we were younger, my parents would take me around. Sometimes we'd go to the market, yun nga po, or to the mall, and um, my mom would tell me about what you should do and shouldn't do when you're commuting. Things like, oh, keep your bag close to yourself, um, hand the change in this way, um, only speak in Tagalog when you're on public
Yes,
transportation. Things like that po.
that's right. You need to be street smart as well.
Yes po. Yes po.
Okay. And another thing that you mentioned in the book, no, about developing a healthy self-image. Why do you think it's important, Therese, especially for teens, to have a healthy self-image?
A lot of people compare themselves to others, and they really sometimes people define themselves by their achievements in school or in orgs, and I used to be one of those people. I was very um, when I came into Ateneo right after homeschooling, I was very um, hungry to prove myself. Oh, I wrote down this list of goals. I wanted to be top of my class. I want to be president of this org. I want to run for student council, things like that. But I felt like I didn't really deserve to be an Ateneo unless I achieved these things. But really, I learned that it's much better to focus on yourself, po, to be reassured in the skills that you already have, um, to know that you don't that these things don't prove anything. They don't make you more of a person. Being student council president, being top of your class, it doesn't make you more of a person in comparison. It's just a label po. And um, I was there was this time in grade 11 po. I was in physical classes. Um I would cry in the classroom because I wouldn't get a grade um, as
Other
high as my
classmates?
seatmate, other classmates. Um, Ayun po, it was just a very big turning point in my life po. And I think that's when I really realized um, how good it was that I was homeschooled and I was able to learn these things before I went to a big school.
But how did you come to realize these things? No, I mean, it's hard. Of course, a lot of teens, especially if they are transferring to another school, they are hungry to prove themselves. So, what was the main reason why you come into realization that hey, I just need to be myself?
I think there's this point po where everything was really going wrong for me. Um, I I received a warning from one of my teachers about my grade. They said, "Oh, you need to pull this up before the semester ends." And then um I was also I also didn't get the position that I wanted in student council, things like that po. And I was just very down for a long time. And then I kept thinking about ways in which I could prove myself again. Um, and then slowly I realized na okay, maybe this isn't for you. Maybe like you should take a step back from this because it was really taking a toll on my mental health po, especially. Um I just felt I had a very low self-esteem, and I said to myself, okay, maybe this is not for you. Maybe you just have to find your own niche. So I slowed down and I started to focus on what was in front of me right now instead of what I wanted. So I focused on pulling up my grade and helping out my classmates in whatever orgs they were in. And I was in an org already currently. So I just tried to do my best in that. And then slowly po, I realized that I'm fine with this. Like what I can this is what I can give right now. Considering the state I'm in a new school. Um, I don't really have much experience with things like this, so I just learned to accept na this is this is what I can give right now, and I just need to be happy with this and make the most out of it.
And you're able to pull it through. I mean, because you're able
Yes
to
po.
graduate, diba?
Yes po.
Congratulations. God has a better plan for you.
Yes po.
And I would like to congratulate you again for being a co-author of this book. You've shared
Thank you
your
so much
innermost
po.
thoughts on this book. So can you invite the parents to get a copy of this and share what they can get out from this book? Kasi upon checking the title, no, Welcome to My Humble Homeschool. Parang it's all about homeschooling, and yet you discuss something very personal. So would you like to invite the parents to get a copy of this?
So, if you're on the fence about homeschooling, if you have a lot of doubts about what your kid will go through when they homeschool, I really invite you to get this book and learn about the experiences of me and my other fellow homeschoolers. I think that um, yeah, what I said in the book is that homeschooling is a very different experience for each and every one of us. And you just have to find your niche, you have to find what works for you. Um, so if you were interested in learning more about that, find out about the different ways people have homeschooled, please just check out this book that me and my other co authors have worked very hard on. Yes.
And what was your experience writing this book, Therese?
It was very nostalgic because um, I I had not been homeschooling at that point for about 2 years, so I really had to go back and remember some very fun times in my life. Well, yeah.
Okay, wow. And we thank you for sharing your thoughts and your tips in this book, no? And we learn a lot today as well from your sharing. So thank you, Therese, for your time. And parents, I hope this will give you a bigger picture, no? That homeschooled kids can also be ready for college, no? Sabi nga nila, when the atmosphere encourages learning, the learning is inevitable. So thank you mga ka-homeschool for joining us today. Thank you again, Therese,
Thank you
and
po
God
for
bless
this
everyone.
opportunity.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.